Hey everybody, Kyle here once again. Another episode of Knocked Out Entertainment Presents. Kind of doing a little weird, like 2-for-1. 2-for-1. I am simultaneously, just as a little preview, doing both the podcast for this episode as well as the first episode of the video of the vlog. And I'm just going to recap kind of how everything's been going so far, or with the year. And, you know, the first big thing, obviously, was the Wrestlepalooza shows at the beginning of the year, January 3rd and 4th. It ended up being a kind of crazy, hectic weekend, because those of you that know me, know that I'm not only a wrestling photographer, but I'm also obviously a wrestling fan. And I'm a big fan of Japanese pro wrestling. So it was a long weekend, to say the least. I had the Wrestlepalooza shows, you know, the 3rd and the 4th, but because of the time difference, that meant that the January 4th Tokyo Dome show basically started as soon as we were done with Wrestlepalooza Night 1. So I was able to go from Wrestlepalooza Night 1, head back home, and then watch the first night of New Japan. And then same thing with night 2. A lot of fun. Like, I'll go kind of more in detail about the, you know, Wrestlepalooza shows. So January 3rd, as always, I'm there to help set up, and we were doing a lot of video stuff, which I'll get to for night 2. So I'm one of the people helping shoot the First Fridays episodes for F1rst Wrestling, and I'm super happy to be doing that. So I'm shooting little interviews, you know, video footage at ringside, which I've been doing for a lot of shows, and then also photography. Night 1 was so much fun. Like, the North versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. The North are probably one of my favorite tag teams going right now. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. They're so good. And then the main event, defending his Wrestlepalooza championship, was Orange Cassidy, or was Airwolf, sorry, against Jake Atlas, who, it was the first time I'd seen Jake Atlas, and he's very good. Like, obviously just today dropped the news that he was signed to the WWE Performance Center and NXT. So I'm really glad that I got to photograph one of his matches before he left. And then, yeah, so night 1 was a lot of fun. I mean, those shows are always super fun. I was really excited during, so we got to debut a couple new burlesque performers over the weekend. And luckily, I am happy that I can consider both of the new performers friends of mine. So the first one was Emerald Eve on Friday night, doing the Pussy Control routine of hers, and I love that routine. She got a new hat, like a super cool looking new hat. And I got a really fun picture that you'll be able to see in the video version of this. So subscribe to YouTube, Knocked Out Entertainment. Knocked Out Entertainment. Search for that on YouTube. And so I got a really cool photo as she was doing the bra reveal. She spun it over her head, let go, and it started sailing right towards me. And it was like, oh, cool, this is going to turn out awesome. And it did. Like, you literally have the bra, like, cupping in frame, and then her in the background on the top turnbuckle. It was so cool. Such a cool look. I was really happy how that photo turned out. And then, yeah, it was so that was the new burlesque performer. And of course, like, Sweet Pea was there, and killed it as always. And the band for night one, because it's wrestling, live music, and burlesque. The band for night one was Tightwire. And they're really good. Like, I wish I wasn't running around so much because, I always, because the band set takes a little bit of time. And if a lot of times as a concert photographer, you're only given a little bit of time to shoot each band. Like, it's not like you're out there for a whole 2-hour concert. You're out there for 3 or 4 songs. Like, you have to kind of get in, get out a lot of times with a lot of these deals. So it's a lot of time of, I'll photograph one of these sets, and then do something quick backstage. Maybe run and get a drink of water, on the rare occasion that actually happens. And then, so like I got some pretty cool photos of the band night one. And so then we'll lead into the second day. And the second day I ended up doing a lot more stuff for the first Fridays, that'll be doing in some upcoming episodes. I'm super happy that one of the sponsors for that show is the Up Down Barcade in Minneapolis, because we get to go film there, and the management's super, super cool. And so I got to run around for like half an hour or so with Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, and talking to them about, Ethan's vlog, Josh talking about, sharing some stories on the transition to wrestling as he was playing some video games. And it just, like, it made me feel better as a sideline reporter of the fact that, oh yeah, I actually know what I'm doing. It's weird. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I know what type of questions to ask in this setting to really kind of convey what we wanted on for the video episodes. Even though they're nice little, fun and 10-minute little videos showing the highlights and everything. But yeah, we got to film some stuff. And then we filmed, a couple intros with Mr. Dave Prazak and Mr. Kevin Harvey. Two guys I really enjoy working with. Like they are a lot of fun. They are both very, very good at their jobs. The whole crew, honestly, the whole crew at F1rst Wrestling, like I'm so happy to be even just a little part of it. Like, cause the whole crew is so amazing. Like from everybody, in the ring to, Dave and Kevin on commentary, the incredible guys at Smart Mark Video, Robles and Mortimer Plumtree. Yeah, Morty running hard cam. Like everybody's so good. And one of the things I wanted to touch on is our photography team. Like we are so incredibly, incredibly blessed. Like at first, like I said, I feel like I'm of these 5 photographers. I feel like I'm 5th in line. And and people compliment me, for some stuff, but it's like, then I see the work of some of the other photographers that were ringside, and like everybody's so good. I've learned so much from Wayne McCarty, and I've learned so much and completely ripped off some things to the best of my abilities from Michael Watson, Chris Manning, and she says she's the newbie, and she is, but she's so good, and that being Sarah Dope. She's so good that like she said in a post earlier this week that she wanted to stay out of the way and all that stuff, and literally after the first show that she shot, I think I literally told her, no, get in my way. I don't care, because if you're able to get this shot, it will look amazing. It will be so much better than anything I could have shot. That get in my way. I don't care. Like you do you. Like we joked that like somehow she just magically finds extra light. Myself and Chris Manning. It's like, where did this light come from? How did that cast on? How did she get? And we're just all in awe of her. Like her and Michael are both so good at what they do. Michael took an amazing shot of Priscilla Kelly on night 2 with the Uptown VFW Championship, and it's so like I'm seeing him set up all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what he's going for. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I see the final product, and it's like, what? How did you get that? Like it, yeah. So night 2 was just so much fun. So night 2 kicked off with a 4-way. Darren Corbin, who's had the Uptown VFW Championship for a while, he decided he said he was going to defend the belt in an open challenge. And he comes out, and then Eric Cannon's music hits. And he's like, no, I don't want to face you. I've faced you so many times. Darren Corbin has beat Eric Cannon defending the Uptown VFW Championship before. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. Out comes Orange Cassidy, who Darren Corbin lost the Uptown VFW Championship to. He's like, no. I will defend it against anybody. And then out comes Priscilla Kelly, who Darren speared at the last Uptown VFW show. Crowd goes crazy for her. Like, the crowd, even though it feels like she hasn't done that many first shows, Priscilla is so good that you just immediately like kind of latch on and we're like, no, she's awesome. She's really good at what she does. And then by the end of the night, end of the match, Corbin hits Cannon with Cannon and OC are gonna go and give themselves a cheers. And they go to do the cheers. Ginger Snap. Goes to Ginger Snap. Priscilla rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. I couldn't believe it. Like, the crowd went crazy. I posted this video and said, like, this is one of the loudest reactions I've ever heard at First Ave. Cannon beating Arya for the belt was a pretty loud reaction. Airwolf winning the belt was a pretty loud reaction. Those two are on, pretty good levels. But I think the only one that is in this same like stratosphere was the complete and utter surprise that was the Ultimo Dragon popping in, because he was completely unannounced. Literally, I think 5 people, in the back knew that he was coming before the show. 5 people knew. A couple of us assumed or, were told, because it's wrestling. If you think you can keep a secret in wrestling, it's difficult. Somebody's going to tell somebody. Somebody won't know that it's a secret, so they'll tell somebody else. But yeah, there were. So it was kept to a very small group, and I honestly think it was maybe 5 or 6 that knew about it before we arrived to the show. Obviously, once we got to the show and you see Sonny Ono and the Ultimo Dragon walking around, and it's like, wait, huh? What's going on? Why is he here? Oh, okay. But that was the only reaction that even comes close. Because the crowd is so invested, and then Priscilla drops the announcement that the April show at the Uptown VFW is going to be an all-women's show. And that's super cool. That's super, super cool. Like, I'm so glad, because the talent is out there for women's wrestling. And, with Priscilla at the helm of that show, it's going to be great. So that was WrestlePalooza. And then the other matches, on night 1, Super Thunder Frog broke his hammer against Warhorse. I'm so happy Warhorse came by and was able to make it up to these shows, because he was so much fun. I got so many cool photos, just completely headbanging with the belt. Then after night 2, during the after party, I was interviewed by State of Pro Wrestling, and that video should be coming up pretty soon. I'll do a link in the description. Just kind of interviewing me about my time as a wrestling photographer. It was super cool. It was actually as I was, and as you'll see in the video when they post it, like, it was as I'm editing because people were making fun of me a little bit that I kind of didn't have an off switch that whole weekend, because I had a lot of stuff to do, and I wanted to get the photos up quickly and, get the videos up quickly and stuff like that. So yeah, literally as I'm at the after party grabbing some food, because I don't drink, if some of you knew that. As I'm at the after party, I order my food, get my Sprite, and then just sit there. And as I'm waiting for my food, just pull out my laptop, start editing some photos. Like, okay, cool. Because I ended up posting the galleries on my Facebook page and stuff. And so I'm sitting there editing. John comes up and talks to me. He's like, "Oh, hey, would you wanna do an interview?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So yeah, have a nice little fun interview. And then life does not stop. So the next weekend after that, I was able to go to the F1rst tattoo convention. Took photos of my friend. Her Instagram is Shay Kitfast. I'll link that. And was able to take photos of my friend doing this cool Lyra performance at this tattoo convention, and then was able to hang out with another friend as she was just walking around the convention, getting a tattoo and whatever. So yeah, it's been a super cool few weeks. This is very much a little test of kind of formatting and stuff like that, and production wise. Obviously, you see a very blank wall and some stuff in the corner, light stands and things that I'm trying to reorganize. But yeah, I wanted to put out a quick little episode, and just to keep track of all the fun stuff that's been going on. And this coming weekend, I've got the Land O'Lakes Pole Fest, which will be very featured on the next vlog, and talked about out on the next video on the next podcast. So thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe on all your podcast devices, all that fun stuff. And then check me out at Knocked Out Films on Instagram, Twitter, all social media stuff, and knockedoutentertainment.com. Thanks.